My name is Dr. Joy Ogaji. I am the current CEO and Executive Secretary of the Association of Power Generation Companies in Nigeria. All right, thank you so much for that question. Yes, those are not the only books I have. Prior to this time, I've also released 2 other books. They're on Amazon. They were published by Lambert Publishers, and it's on Amazon. The first one is on Woman, the Frontline Soldier. And the second one is my PhD thesis, because Lambert Publishers saw my PhD thesis and thought it wise that it's worth publishing. My PhD thesis was on ADR, that's alternative dispute resolution processes, the viability of ADR in oil and gas conflict. I noticed there has been a lot of conflict between the host communities of the oil producing communities versus government. And I thought it wise to see how I can design a model for ADR to be used to resolve the conflict. There are so many solutions in my PhD, but I think we have not yet implemented those. I believe that my PhD one day the solutions found there, because 3 models were developed. I have the hybrid model of resolving conflict. The hybrid model was designed by taking out the best of the westernized model of resolving conflict and the indigenous or the Nigerian way of resolving conflict. So I use that to design what I call the hybrid conflict resolution model. I believe that either model is applied to our various conflicts, seeing that Nigeria, like every other country, has become a global village where we have a lot of foreign investors. Instead of imposing our indigenous methods on them solely, this hybrid model will be useful, because it's a hybrid, as the word goes. The best of what the Westerners or the investors are used to, and the best of what we are used to. So when they both come to the table, each party is happy with the position, because they can see part of what they are used to, and we too can see part of what we are used to. That way it becomes a win-win solution. So that was my second book. So these 2 books that I just published are The Husband Material and The Waiting Room. Now, The Husband Material, growing up, like I said on the launching dates, I came up from a family of 6 boys and a girl, and I happened to be the only girl. I have 3 senior brothers and 3 younger brothers. I am the middle. I play in the middle field, and I'm the middle fielder, if you want to say. So, and I've noticed how society, my family and other families, we dedicate so much time in bringing up the girl child. The girl child is equipped with morals, lots of etiquettes, so many skills in terms of acquiring skills, both monetary and non-monetary skills. The girl child is equipped, but the boy child, to my view, and I stand to be corrected, is seemingly left out. And society thinks that by leaving out the boy child is preferred or is better off. But in my assessment, and as I've stated in the book, the boy child, I believe, is deprived. Is not fully molded. And the other problem that causes is this boy child that has been neglected, according to my assertion, happens to become the head of a family one day he is going to set up. He has not been trained. He has not been modeled. They've just left him. When cooking is done, the boy is allowed to go and play football. When a family meeting is ongoing, He's allowed to sit anyhow he likes. He can cross his leg or even show disrespect. Nobody cares. What's important is that he's a boy. And I felt this is not right. We are not equipping our sons. So without much ado, the summary of the husband material is about a 300-page book that clearly delineates and treats a number of topics such as the identity crisis that men have come to face. Identity conflict in the sense that, or crisis in the sense that the boy, when he was growing up, has been told that he's going to be the head of the family. Why is he head of the family? Because he is the sole provider. Now, women can equally provide. In some cases, some women are even earning more than their husbands. So how do you become the head of a family by virtue of being the sole provider, but now your wife is a co-provider? It causes identity crisis for men. Secondly, the man now sees that the protection before this time, men are the protectors of the family. A lot of ladies now can protect themselves. In fact, most women now take classes in bodybuilding exercises. They go into training such as taekwondo, karate classes to have self-defense skills. So in that case, in most cases, a woman can even defend herself and her whole family. So society has evolved, but societal norms as it relates to the boy child has not really changed. And this is causing a lot of identity crisis for the boy. So in the book, The Husband Material, I have dealt with steps and how to bring up the boy child and a strong boy child, a confident boy child, a boy child that is confident to face society as a married man, as a single man, in the office, is not intimidated, a well-rounded boy child. That's the essence of the husband material. And also a boy that will have a balanced home when he becomes married. That's all about the husband material. Now, how does it apply to society? The husband material is very relevant for parents, not just the father. Both father and mother is very relevant. It becomes like a manual for you to use to bring up your boy child. And it's also there for teachers, guardians, foster parents, and generally the society to read through it and see how we can start amending and changing the societal norms as it relates to bringing up boys. So in total, what I'm trying to look at is to see how we can bring up better men, better boys, well-balanced brothers who can relate well with their sisters in the family and generally in the society. Because if you check, the rate of raping women and everything has gone really high, astronomically. If you understand your role, that as a boy, your role being a man doesn't make you a scarce commodity, but somebody who should show humanity, have humanity towards another human being, and not just to be a macho man that is there to oppress and to take advantage of the vulnerable in the society. The second book, The Waiting Room, is geared towards singles, and pivotally, it is focused on single ladies. You can see that we have a lot of single ladies who are beautiful. They are working in very good places, financially sound, but they have not been able to find the right man. And with that, most of them are depressed. Some of them feel that their life is not complete. And even mothers and families feel that any girl who is not married is not complete. And as a result, most of these ladies are losing their self-esteem and feel that, oh, because I'm not married, I'm not complete. Society does not accord me any respect. And also, they now keep waiting for this man. If you recall, or if you are very conversant, you will see that gigoloism, if I should use that, to be a gigolo has become a new profession for boys now, because there are so many single ladies, single women, and boys are now taking the career of going into being a gigolo, where ladies can buy car for them, do so many things for them. And these ladies are now feeling like, oh, if I don't get a man, society does not respect me. I go out and people say, are you married? If you're not married, please don't talk. So the book, The Waiting Room, a part of it talks about what you should be doing while you're looking for that Mr. Right. And also, what are the skill sets you need to build while waiting for Mr. Right? Because that issue of, oh, I'm waiting for the right man to marry me and my life will be made whole once I get married, I did not subscribe to that mindset. Rather, the book subscribe what single ladies, what women should have in order to support their husbands. I made examples of myself, how much I support my husband as a married woman with children, how I support my husband's career, and also support financially at home. Because in that book, I have detailed how women can support their husbands by not just depending so my husband to die 20 years before me. I want my husband to be as healthy as myself. And I believe that if both parties can handle the weight should be evenly distributed, as opposed to the man bearing everything. I don't believe that. And so the waiting room talks about that. Then the second part of the waiting room talks about generally life is a waiting. In life, we wait for everything. And so what should you be doing? What are the skills, patience, and some traits and qualities you need to develop? You wait for the doctor, you go to the bank, you wait for your turn. So Nigerians generally, we don't really like waiting. So the waiting room is a book for Nigerians to learn how to wait. Thank you for that question. It has always been like that. It has always been like that, because if you have opportunity to read the book, The Husband Material, I dedicated a whole chapter on what is man. And in doing that, I took an historical journey into the evolution of man as one, as the gender, two, as man as the gender for male and female, as is captured in the Bible. In the Bible, in Genesis chapter 2, God made man. The man stands for both the male and the female. So I took a historical view and I trace it from creation to current date to see how men, I even took some anthropological review of England, how men were treated in those days, Shakespearean days. I took some historical view, and I can categorically tell you that it has always been like that. And so this husband material is geared towards correcting a long-standing misnomer. I want to call it a misnomer of how boys are brought up. The problem, especially if let me take Nigeria for instance. The reason why we are having a lot of more, maybe if we say more single ladies, they are not really more single ladies. There are more singles, both male and female. But because society has rated the male as a scarce commodity that the female need to run after. Maybe if you read some books, you will see that some people give statistics that in Nigeria, there are more females than males. But I have done, you can also check with the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics and other population censuses. You can see that the gap between the female and the male is quite small, very, very small. Ladies, the last statistics I checked was about 49 point something, And males are even about 50 point something. You can see that we have more males than female according to the current statistics. However, Nigeria, unlike other African countries, we are completely living our value system. And that is also captured in the book, that we are living our value system where we enjoy the home. As in, a man, one of his aim is to look for a viable work and to see how he can get married and raise a family. These days, that's almost the last thing in most young men. When I got married, my husband was ready to get married at age 25. But I wasn't ready because I was still going through my law school. You know how it takes to train to become a lawyer. So it's a long process. You have to finish the first 5 years in the university, then go to law school, do your law school, do your youth service. It takes about 7 to 8 years, and plus strike. I suffered about 2 years strike. So instead of finishing maybe 7 years, I more or less finished after 9 years because of the 2 year strike that I suffered. 1993, 1995 strike, the 2 year strike actually affected me. So we are living our value system. We are now watching more of American movies, UK movies, where people don't really, with all due respect, that is not to say they don't marry, but the marrying population has really fallen. People now feel that, I don't really need to get married to be fulfilled, so I can just be single. So we are now imbibing those cultures. And as a result, most women are not finding the right man to get married to. And divorce rate too has increased as a result of this same value system problem. So there are two problems. One, we have lost our value system, which I believe with time we need to start looking for. And I hope if I have time, it will be my next book, how we can get our value system reorientated or get our value system back. So I hope that answers your question, because losing our value is one of the reasons why we are now seemingly seeing more women than more men. And to answer the other part of the question that say, if women are the ones that are properly brought up, how come they are lacking the right man? The right men are out there saying, oh, they still have time. They need to enjoy life. They now have the understanding that marriage is a prison, that when they get married, they will not be free to test the sorry for that language, because that's the language they use. They want to test as many women as possible before they get married, and marriage to them is a prison. So if they get married, means that they are in prison. So before they get into that prison, they want to enjoy life. So these are some of the reasons why women. And in the husband material, a whole chapter is dedicated to these statistics you're talking about, finding out why women are not finding the right men to marry, and why men are not getting married, and different reasons. Some gave the reason that is lack of unemployment. Some gave the reason that their father and mother's marriage didn't work, so there was no reason for them to go into marriage. And instead, they can just have as many girlfriend or women friends as possible. And if they want children, they can have as many baby mamas as possible instead of committing to one person. So a whole chapter deals with this your question. It's a good innovation that is for Singapore, but for Nigeria, I think although we like to copy from other countries, but when you bring it to Nigeria, it's always, in most cases, it doesn't actually really work well, because those countries, like you said, they carried out a research. So for government to implement something like this, like I said, it's just one chapter of my book that dealt with it. And because that was not the focus of the book, it was not elaborately researched on. So if the government were to carry out such thing, a whole research need to be dedicated to that, where so many metrics and dynamics need to be designed. Research questions will be designed, and then we design research methodologies using qualitative and quantitative methods to know whether we can carry out focus groups, interviews, whether oral and documented interviews, to be able to come up and cover a wide range of the population, like the young ones, the middle age, and different categories. Then we can now arrive at, okay, this actually is a problem. Because for my book, it's just one chapter that dealt with it. So I cannot really say that this may be the whole, it's similar to the Singapore problem. However, there is no harm in reading more about the Singapore story you're talking about, and then see how we can apply it to Nigeria. But to do that, we need to look at the value system. Was Singapore keeping to still their value system, or they have similar value value system depreciation? That's if you permit me to use that word, that we are experiencing. Were they experiencing similar value system depreciation, or their value system was still intact, but the men preferred to marry below their level because maybe they feel that the graduates may be too intelligent for them to manage? So there are so many questions to answer before we can say, yes, the Singapore solution should be applied to the Nigerian solution. The writing, actually, it's is a hobby for me, and I do that as part of my relaxation after work. Most of my writings are done over weekends. Like these two books, like I said, I started writing it in during the COVID era, 2020. And I couldn't conclude it because of work schedule until during the last Christmas. I picked it up to start to fine-tune it, and then sent it out to editors to edit. It was when they came back with the edited copy that we sent to the printers to digitally publish it. So I am, what will I say? I'm a workaholic. And I also love managing multiple tasks. I can multiple task a lot. Talking to you, were it not for the fact that I'm actually talking, if it was a Zoom meeting, I would have been listening to the Zoom, taking down notes in the Zoom meeting, and at the same time, I could be signing documents still in the office. So I can do so many things at the same time and still do it properly. I have managed this multitasking skill for many years, right from university days. So it's something I love doing. I cannot do one thing, just one thing. I can focus on so many things, and which is why in my current job, I handle so many things. I am the CEO, I am the executive secretary, I am the secretary to the board, secretary to all the various committees of the power generation companies, the CEO monthly forum. I do that as a secretary. I do so many other things. I am the spokesperson. You know, I used to speak for them as the advocate, do advocacy, media outreach. I attend conferences, representing them, presenting papers. So many things I do because of my ability to handle multitasking. At the same time, they are legal advisor because I am a lawyer as well. So I do so many things. I'm used to doing multitasking and yet delivering on my mandate. My child, I wish you both things. Thank you for that question. I am a lawyer in Nigeria. I'm also a lawyer in the UK. I'm a solicitor. I was called to the England and Wales bar in 2007. I was called to the Nigerian bar in 2000. So I am a lawyer in both jurisdictions. So I love my legal practice, but I am not a purely litigation lawyer. I'm a commercial lawyer. So what I am doing is actually part of what I should be doing as a commercial lawyer. Reviewing documents, advising on commercial documents, drafting commercial documents, and reviewing the regulatory and various laws and policies. So I'm still in my field, to me, because as a commercial and corporate lawyer, I am doing what I should be doing as a commercial lawyer. And in England, I am not a barrister. In Nigeria, I'm a barrister and solicitor. In England, as you know, you are either a barrister or a solicitor. So in England, I'm a solicitor. So similar thing that I'm doing here is what I was doing in the UK. Okay. So I'm like a fish in the river. I'm still in the river. I'm not out of the river yet.
You prosper, but when you look around at all the success.
I am highly self-motivated. I'm a highly self-motivated person. I grew up in an environment of, I didn't grow up with a golden spoon. I can say that I don't think I even had a spoon at all. Talk of gold, not even silver. So that's growing up, I had this philosophy, and I grew up with my grandmother in the village. For those of you that may know, my village people call it a city. I grew up in Buguma City, in Asaritoro local government, which is Asalga in Rivers State. So growing up with my grandmother, I saw the condition of things, and I told myself that I will change my situation, and things cannot remain like this. So from then, I motivated myself. I read as if everything depended on reading. I'm a Christian. I'm a born-again Christian. I prayed, and I still pray as though everything I do depends on God. So I'm a very focused person. I'm very diligent with my work. And each time, problems motivate me. Problems does not deter me. I am somebody that does not see an impossibility. You may ask my staff for it. If I ask you, let's do this, and you say, madam, this is not possible, I am not happy with that. Because tell me, yes, there are challenges, and then tell me how we can work out through that challenges. I don't take no for an answer. I don't see anything impossible, because I believe that where there is a will, there is always a way. And that is what motivates me. So seeing for example, in the power sector, people ask me, you're so passionate. I say, yes, I'm passionate because I believe that the power sector problem can be resolved. It's not a conundrum. It can be resolved. And I believe that it will take human beings to resolve it. So I'm motivated by problems. I'm motivated by my background. I'm also motivated by possibilities. When I look at Nigeria, I have this dream that Nigeria will become great. I believe that I am an incurable optimist that Nigeria will be great. When? I don't know. But I know Nigeria will be great. And I'm proud to be a Nigerian.
Successful people in history, they are all great readers.
It's a very strong question. My mom is late. She died in 1997. My mom, though late, was still in debt, still is in debt, still my role model. Why is she, or was she, my role model? Because to the people listening, is a was, but to me, she's still alive. So my mom is a very hardworking, dogged, family-oriented, very supportive of her family, though not educated, because in her time, Our father told her that he would prefer to train the boys. So she was not educated. So you can see some of my motivations. But a lack of education did not deter her. She was an industrious businesswoman that saw her children through school, notwithstanding the status of the husband. So my mom, I would say, is my first role model. The second role model is my husband. And you can see why I was pushed to write about the husband material. My husband is not perfect, just like any other husband. I am not either. I'm not perfect either. However, my husband is this kind of person that pushed me to any level. He said, you can do it. Even when I tell him, no, this is no, he said, you can do it. So you can see where I get this, my not taking a no for an answer person, because I have behind me somebody who is pushing and propelling, telling me, see, don't be scared about what society looks at you, that you are a woman and working in a sector where is a male-dominated, and working in a society where you are meant to be only seen but not to be heard. And he keeps saying, don't worry, your voice, your voice will be heard. Just keep going. So my husband is my second role model. Then in the sector, I have so many people I look up to that I don't know if I can list all their names. Professor Batinaji, the one-time Minister of Power, is a role model. Mr. James Olotu, the pioneer MD of NDPAC, is a role model and a mentor. Engineer AJ Edmond is the current market operator of the power sector, is a role model. I have so many, you can see, I have so many. Like I told people during my book launch, I said, if people say I am successful, it's because I have a strong support system. And so I have so many role models and they challenge me. I have Mrs. Abayomi. She's a role model to me. Mrs. Obaye, I call her Mrs. My mentor. She's based in Lagos. She works with the Ascension International HR firm. She's a consultant and she's my role model too. I bounce ideas from her. She's always constantly motivating me and encouraging me. So Mr. Abayomi Olaika, she's my role model too.
You see they read and they work hard. Children of now.
You are very correct, and I know some of them as well. And these are some of the reasons that I also wrote the book, Woman, the Frontline Soldier, as well as some of those ideas were also reflected in the husband material book. Now, like I said, a woman, for similarly a man too, for a man to be able to succeed in his office, he needs the home front support. He needs the support of the children. For a man to succeed career-wise, she needs a settled, peaceful, balanced home front. And this is what I enjoy. My children support my dream. My children support my line of profession. My husband supports 100%. Vice versa, I do the same to him. I support his work. I support his dream. In fact, I want him to have all his dreams fulfilled. So if husband and wife see each other as partners in progress as opposed to competitors, such women can remain married. But where Most men, and I say most men because I've seen most men, and I also captured it in the husband material, and I captured it under the chapter called masculinity, the danger of masculinity. No, so men have been brought up, as you know, that men are the heads. They are to be respected. They are to be worshipped. They are to be honored. Such a man may not be highly educated or as educated as his wife. And with that mindset, he sees his wife as a competition. If she has a PhD like me, so, you want to get PhD so that you will jump on top of my head. He's not looking at it from the point of view that when this woman becomes very effective, one, my family will become effective. Let's say my salary is 100,000 and my husband's salary is 200,000 for purposes of example. Now you see, whatever we will do as a family, our budget will be 300,000. It's no more 200,000 because he knows that my 100,000 is coming. And this advice is also going to the women. Most women, their salaries may be 500,000. The husband's salary is 200,000. But they will focus on expending the 200,000 of the man and using their own 500,000 on what I will call, and this is my opinion, I call it frivolities. You spend your own 500,000 to go and buy human hair, to go and buy one raining car or one whatever at the expense of your family. For me, my family is number one. My work is number two. So I always try to do this work-life balance. That is not to say that I am lacking in any part of my work. My bosses can attest to it. I do my work efficiently, but my family also. And when work is pressuring me, my husband understands, because he knows that when the pressure is not there, I find time for them. So when those days I have pressure, my husband understands. There are times my husband waiting for me. I will be in the office till 9 p.m., 10 p.m. because sometimes I have to go to the National Assembly for one meeting or the other. I'm there till 9, 10. They are still in one meeting or the other. He will be waiting for me. So this has to do with understanding. So husband and wife should not look at marriage as a competition, but as complementing each other. That will be my advice on that. With that, any home can stand. The woman too, notwithstanding that she's earning more than her husband, she should respect him, and respect should be mutual. I know in most speaking engagements I go to, most people say that, oh, men needs respect. Women also respect. Human being wants to be respected. Yes, so the woman respect your husband, husband also respect your wife. And if we all, in my book, in the husband material, to be on the, I want to say, during the launching, somebody asked me, the husband material, how many yards is it? And I told the person, I know the person was trying to crack joke. And I told the person that the husband material should be 100 yards. And why did I say it should be 100 yards? I don't know how many children can, or husband and wife and children can use all 100 yards to sew cloth. No, there will be no family like that. So if you have up to 100 yards, it's enough to cover everybody and still remain. And the wife material for me should also be 100 yards. So if the wife brings 100 yards, the husband brings 100 yards, that way there will be no lack. That way, both parties are covered. I'm not saying my marriage is perfect. God is the only perfect one. My marriage and my family relationship is also work in progress, but it's something that I commit to. I commit it to God, and I also put in my best, what physically I can do, and the rest I leave in God's hands. So I think that would be my advice for both men and women.
Nowadays you like things to go easy for you, and I don't know.
My parting words, I want my country to change. Nigeria can be better. Nigeria can be better. Let us all put hands together and make Nigeria great. And those people whose hearts are failing, who are depressed because of the state of things currently, I want to encourage them that it will be well. Let's start seeing Nigeria in a positive light. And let's start having hope for Nigeria. A better Nigeria is possible.
I don't know when you read, you go about all day pressing your phones, and I don't know how you pass your examination. Yeah. I'ma show you where I don't care. 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 I'ma show you where I don't care.
Of course, I read and do all my reading on my phone. Down from the time when man was breaking stones and hunting game.